Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today's the 5th of July. For those of you who are American viewers, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July holiday and restful celebration. Today I wanted to quickly discuss the console PTS and the whole releasing of some of this content on PC before it was on PTS anyways, before it was deployed, and season pass holders on console feeling like they have not received what they paid for. Well, first of all, I feel like the answer to that question as to why Massive released all that the content for everyone on PC instead of just specifically season pass holders, I feel like the answer to that should come directly from Massive to their community. I'm not going to try to sit here and say, oh, I feel like they did this because of A, B, and C. I could give reasons, but I'm not the one who deployed the PTS. I'm not saying that there's anything inherently bad with it. I just feel like Massive needs to explain themselves and give their community the kind of like the respect, enough respect to say, okay, here's why we made this decision, and if the decision makes sense, then I feel like it'll be satisfactory to members of the community that feel like that. But another thing that I really wanted to put out there was, the way content's been deployed in the history of the Division game entirely. There was a patch one time. It was a big, heavy content drop. But Massive Ubisoft had signed an exclusive deal with Microsoft, and so that content came to Xbox and PC 30 days before it touched PS4. So on PS4, those of us who paid for a season pass, we were literally playing old content and watching new content on YouTube all over the place. And so this is one of the reasons a lot of people hounded the answer out of Massive, which is, would there be an exclusivity deal with any one party? And so a lot of people in that 30 days, some people went ahead and just got upset and bought a PC. Some people, were very upset and bought themselves an Xbox. But everybody that was in my, community at that point that we all played together, we just kind of stuck it out and continued to play the content that we had until the other content dropped. And then even furthermore, when the developers decided to implement a PTS, the first time that they implemented it on PC. And then a lot of people were asking, is there going to be something like a console PTS, because the game is quite different on both platforms. And the developers started trying to push for a console PTS. And what they realized was it's actually much more difficult to do console PTS than actually doing a PTS on PC. A PTS on PC, they don't have to go through Microsoft or Xbox whatever's to deploy software on there that's available for everybody, or Sony, they have to do some paperwork. I remember Yannick on a State of the Game talking about the difficulty and how Sony had actually said they were going to release certain things and something happened with the paperwork and then it delayed it again. And so there were some discrepancies back and forth, but this is not an excuse for the developers. I feel like whenever content drops are not necessarily available, this is probably when they need to start pushing the paperwork and getting things ready with Sony and Xbox to get a PTS deployed for console. So this is again another aspect of our development team, that the development team anyways, that does a Division being more reactive than proactive, because if they were, this would probably be available for everybody. But then you also have to answer the question, would the content have been available to everybody on the PS4 as well in order for it to be tested? So I guess the question is, what exactly is a public test server? And I feel like Massive probably needs to come back and discuss that again with the community and say, hey, this is what the public test server is going to be about. Everything, or this is however much we're going to want to put on there, and we're pretty much okay putting whatever content we want to put out on there as well. So I think ahead of just looking ahead and looking in the future, it's all a matter of communication from the development team. If they communicate with their community, then things are probably going to work out better for them. And then finally, before I end this video, I wanted to quickly address something that I think has probably hurt a lot of console players, and that's the way the game has been developed for console. Now, as somebody who plays on PC, which a lot of people probably see me as some elitist, but many of you, don't know that I grinded out the Division 1 on a PS4, where I spent at least 1,200 hours on PS4 before I went to buy a PC and started playing on there. And I was thinking about playing on PS4, but the grind is just so much. It's not as easy to level up another tune on a different platform, whereas back in the day I had 3 characters on PS4 and 3 characters on console. Whereas if I wanted to do something like that, I would spend immense amounts of time doing it. So maybe over the course of the game I'll probably do it, but then I noticed that the optimization of this game for the PS4, and I don't know about the Xbox really, is not necessarily in the best possible place, because the Division 2 is a very tasking game. Like, it will really soak up your hardware. And even the Division 1 itself was a CPU eater. Like, it just was a very heavy game for your rig. And so, yes, the game was developed on a PC, like many games are. Many games are developed on a computer. If not all games are developed on a computer and then, developed to adapt to the console version as well. Or it just depends on whoever is doing it. Sometimes developers will develop the games based on the consoles and then pass on the work to another company to port it to PC. But Massive does I think they do all their development of everything. So I feel like the optimization for the PS4 was necessarily not up to par in sense of how the game launched. So that's why we started seeing some audio bugs, the way the lighting was. I just don't feel like they should have used, I don't know the whole development process, so I'm not going to speak too deep, not to reveal my ignorance in this area. But just from watching videos and watching streams as when the game came out, and watching videos from PS4, I was not in any way impressed with the way things were. And then people even complaining and speaking about these things, they were actually very, very rough to see. And that's one of the things that kept me away from actually getting it on console. I would have gotten an Xbox, but you gotta run that one through my, the council of financial activities in this house, man. That's my wife. She's not really a fan of me getting one more gaming device. So y'all Xbox players, I really wanted to do some console stuff, but seems like it's not going to be happening anytime soon. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you have any concerns, or if you want to keep the discussion going, leave it in the comment section. I genuinely feel like, the responsibility as to how all of this was deployed is on the shoulder of the developers, and they should have been much more transparent and communicated with their community in order for things to be able to work out specifically for everybody's own benefit. All right, I'll be out of your hair. Thank you very much for your time and your audience, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.